Okay, so let's talk about, and Gina, you can help me remember everything from your questions. But so let me describe what I'm talking about as far as signing up your husband and the benefits. So when I first became a coach, I did not sign up Aaron. I didn't need to, in my mind, because I had like within a couple weeks, 7 discount coaches, and I was like, this is great. This is easy. Why do I need to sign up my husband? It wasn't until one of my emeralds, after I became diamond, canceled, and I moved him into her spot, because you can do that if somebody is canceling. However, that meant he was on my strong leg. And so I used his account to stay at diamond until Roxanne came on board. And after Roxanne came on board, she was on that leg and I didn't need him anymore, so I canceled him. It wasn't until Gina hit diamond, and it was right before I opened up my second business center, that I needed Aaron on my weak leg. That's how you open up your second business center. So that's when he became a coach. So if I look at my downline right now, this is who is on my weak leg above Aaron. A discount coach, Christy, another discount coach, Kara, Gina, and then Aaron. Hello, Christy, Gina, and Kara and their teams are all high performers. So don't you know that I wish that Aaron was getting their volume? So here's Christy, Kara, Gina, and other discount coaches who have high volume because they're very regular with their Shakeology. And I'm like, great, here's Aaron. So Aaron could be collecting that volume. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's not. So Aaron is emerald, and he does team cycle bonus. And the reason that his team cycle bonus is so high every week is because of my second business center and it being strategically placed in my downline, but he gets the volume from it. So I wish that he had that volume on both sides. Yes, I have other coaches underneath him on my weak leg, of course, but my 3 high performers besides him are all above.
Okay, so then the people underneath him are the people that you needed to generate more volume in order to have a higher team cycle bonus there. If it's somebody just on your weak leg, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if, say for instance, if I sign him up and I just have one discount coach under him who is basically just getting Shakeology, it's not going to be very much of a team cycle bonus under him, correct?
Right. Yeah. So here's the benefits of signing up your coach. For those of you watching this who are not emerald yet, right? Because we're going to share this with our team. So for those of you who are watching who are not emerald yet, dude, you can get to emerald like that by getting one person plus your husband underneath you. Now, I know a lot of your husbands are probably still skeptical about the business, about, you maybe signing them up as a coach. Aaron will never work the business. Christine Dwyer's husband, John, sucks at the business. She said that several times before. He is a horrible coach. We even tried to make him a coach. It's not happening. So don't think that your husband has to work the business. You can work his business for him if you choose to do that. If you choose to build that account, you don't have to build that account. But if you sign him up, you do want him to stay active so that he can be one of your active coaches. You can keep generating volume from him. And then if you do decide to work his business, that he can become emerald and whatever. To be active, you don't have to have Shakeology on that account, right? You need to have Shakeology tied to your account because it's one of the requirements for Success Club every month and tied to other things. But for an active coach, they don't have to have Shakeology. They just have to have at least 50 PV. So example, on Aaron's account, I used to just order random things from there every 5 weeks because I didn't have any customers tied to him because customers give you PV too, remember? Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to place any customers under him. I still don't really because I want them to go to one of my business centers. But if you don't want to put any customers there, you can just have an ongoing order, or you can order random stuff. I have an ongoing order now of Energize and Power Greens on his, so that gives me like 60 PBs. So it's more than enough.
Yeah, see, that was my thought, would be the Energize and the Recover.
Yeah, there you go.
I need that.
That's enough. So yeah, so and the great thing about that is that's gonna help your team cycle bonuses. So just think, like you have volume from your coaches. If your husband's one of your coaches, any volume you're gonna team cycle bonus off of.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So new coaches who are watching this, don't get confused, but leaders who are watching this, when you have your business center, your husband's business center, when you hit 2-star, your second business center, and your husband is at least Emerald, boom, 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 team cycle bonuses all over the place. And that's your residual income. That's when it gets serious. If you don't have a spouse,
make up a name. No, I mean, you have to have a social security number.
Yeah, you can do another family member, and that's fine. But if you have a spouse, for sure. They don't ever have to work the business. They don't ever have to do anything. I think the only thing I've ever had Aaron do is call Coach Relations to update his credit card number, because I couldn't do that for him. He has to, has to be the actual person. But yeah. So for those of you considering signing up your husbands, take my advice. If you are in this for the long haul and you are in this for financial reasons, sign up your husband now and sign him up on your weak leg. Guess what? If you sign him up with a challenge pack, you get 2 Success Club points and a commission. So if you got the cheapest challenge pack, which is $140, any of them, then you get a $45 commission off of it, right? Plus you get 2 Success Club points, plus you'll earn volume on that leg for your team cycle bonus. So it'll come back for you. You will have to pay their $15.95 monthly coach fee. If you don't want to have them on the club membership, you don't have to. That's unless you're working their business, you don't have to. I have Aaron's active because we've ordered so much that I want all of his programs on Beachbody On Demand. But that's really the only reason. Make sure that you sign them up on your weak leg. If you don't know what leg is your weak leg, then you need to ask your upline coach to help you with that. I would suggest, if you are a team builder, if you are somebody who's working the business, it just makes sense to get your husband to Emerald. So here's how you do it. On a month, if your goal is Success Club 5 or if your goal is Success Club 10, on a month where you've already hit Success Club 5, if that's your goal, then work on your husband's account and getting him 2 discount coaches. If Success Club 10 is your goal, hit that first and then work on your husband's account. Okay. If your husband loses Emerald at any point and you need to get him back, that probably will happen at some point. It's happened to us several times. You do not lose that volume. Remember, that volume stays there. It's a rollover. And as soon as he gets back to Emerald, you'll make the bonuses again. His bonuses are going to start out very, very small, just like yours did when you first became Emerald. And it will build as you go on. And then once you open a second business center, boom, you're going to have all of this built up volume. And then as your second business center comes on and you start working that's where the team cycle bonuses come in. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Is that any questions? Any more questions on that?
I have a question.
Yes.
So I have Cameron actually on my weak leg at the very top, which of course she still is active-ish. And it's not that she doesn't want to do it, but my question is, could she cancel so that I could move Curtis into her place and come back on again later? Because I know she would do that if I explained to her the reasoning behind it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
If you, yes, for people who are watching, if you have a coach, even a discount coach that cancels and you get the notification that they're canceling, or they tell you that they want to cancel, you'd really need to do it before they submit their paperwork. There is a form. I don't know where it is. I think it's in your Coach Online office. I think it's under My Business, My Forms and Documents. But there is a form where they would need to sign it, and your husband would need to sign it for their saying, I'm turning over my business center and all that lies within it to this person. Okay. So if they have any customers, any coaches tied to them, it would go to your husband. Usually when a coach cancels and they do have customers or coaches, you absorb them. So say you have a coach who's working a business, they have 5 customers and 2 coaches, they cancel, you get those people and they become yours. So it's just like, instead of you getting them, you're moving your husband in there. So yeah, I mean, yeah, if that's something she's wanting to do, then for sure.
But she can sign back up later?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is no waiting period. There is no 6-month waiting period as long as she signs back up with you. There's only a 6-month waiting period if they sign up with somebody different.
Okay.
Sign back up with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know about that. There wasn't a 6-month waiting period if they re-sign with you.
That's something they changed, I think, last year. They've flip-flopped it back and forth over the last few years. But yes, currently, you do not have to wait. You can cancel and then re-sign up as long as you sign up with the same person. If you want to switch sponsors, then you have to wait 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So say she signs up to cancel, just real quick. Is there a time frame that I need to get that paperwork in? Like, do they give you 30 days or is it like a week or to get the paperwork in to get him in her spot before?
So she won't do the usual cancellation. Most of the time what happens when people go into cancel is they contact Coach Relations. Coach Relations sends them paperwork or tells them how to find it and they fill it out. She wouldn't do that. She would get the paperwork from you.
Okay.
That paper, I think it's just one sheet, I think. You would already have Curtis signing it, and then she would just sign it, and then you would email it off to Coach Relations, and they would take care of it. Usually it takes like 3 days. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can sign, so back to if you wanted to sign them up just regular, you could either do a challenge pack for them or you can just pay the $40. When I did what Katie's talking about and moved Aaron in place of another coach, I just paid the $40. When I signed him up a second time, I bought the challenge pack so that I could hit success level. So it was helpful. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Okay. Let's move on. So I started really focusing on streamlining my getting started right stuff for coaches, because let's face it, no matter if you use the Team Esteem system or Team Thrive system or Platinum Presenter system or Coach Basic system from corporate, everything is confusing when you're a new coach. It doesn't matter how perfect your training or onboarding process is, it's freaking confusing. We all felt like that. So this is how professional I am. It's the sheet of paper with pen and highlighting. Cool. That's a joke. It's not professional at all, but whatever. So I suggest as you are adding on more coaches who are working the business. So, you might have challengers that decide, hey, I want to really coach now, or you might be bringing on people who upfront want to work the business. The further you get into coaching, hopefully the more both of those options will happen, and they will as long as you stay consistent. So streamlining is awesome. I suggest you do it now. You're going to constantly be updating and changing things all the time. But if you have an organized system, like I've shared with y'all before, kind of like a checklist, this is pretty much what this is. But if you listen to the National Wake Up Call from Amy Sullins on Monday, I love her. I always learn. Kara, that was one of the people that presented Kind Imagine. We were just like, oh, yeah. Like everything she said, we're like, wow, you're a genius. She's great. She's so great at onboarding new coaches. But she's got a great consistent story because she's been a coach for like 8 years and she just hit 15-star diamond. And, so it's not like, I know you hear stories of people doing that in like a year, but you know, she's one of those people that was just really consistent throughout. And so her business continued to build year by year. So, I've shared this part with you before, but so the first part is obviously they either join the sneak peek or you've sent them a webinar or you've talked to them about coaching. They're interested in coaching and you've given them the information. Then they have their orders processed, right? So they're officially a coach. Yay, you're officially a coach. So these are just some of the first things that I do. I posted a video link for y'all. Katie, I sent it to you. It's like a 6-minute video because this was a suggestion that Christina talked about on Monday, is just making a video to send to your new coaches as soon as they sign up to be like, here's what's going on. So this is what I tell them in the video. I said, hey, congrats, you're a new coach. I just added you to my automated email system, so you've gotten our monthly coaching newsletter, and in that newsletter is the coaching roadmap. Basically, it just tells you what to do each day, what each month will look like with you starting challenge groups, and blah, 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 blah as you move forward with coaching. Okay, then I tell them, okay, I've also sent you another email that has some basic coaching 101, how to set up your profile, how to contact coach relations, how to contact customer service. Okay, and then I might talk about challenge groups. If maybe they're new to the challenge group, they haven't done a challenge group yet, I might talk about that a little bit. And I give them access to the Google Drive. Okay. Then the next step is add them to the Team Esteem Facebook page, give them a shout out on there. Same thing. And then I talk about training. So I've told you all this recently. Over the past, really since the spring, since like March or April, this is what I've been doing. And you can do whatever you want, but this is what I've been doing. Before they start coach training, before they start the 7-day quick start of coach training, I send them the how to get their Shakeology paid for information. I have it in my automated system as a one email with the links. It's got a few videos in there, but all of that for you is on the Google Drive. If you want your people to receive it, I already have the email set up. You can just tell me and I'll send it to them. But I have that on there. And then I also have an attachment from corporate that kind of explains what's going on in Coach Basics. Yeah, it's from corporate and it says Coach Basics, but it's basically the same thing as what we do in Coach Training. Then I get them set up on Coach Training. So that's a lot, right? That's a freaking lot. Like, hey, you just got this, 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 and this, and this, you know, so that's a lot. I do that over the course of a few days. It's not like I email them once and send them, okay, don't get overwhelmed, but here you go. I break it down into a couple of days, baby steps. Okay, great. We add this Team Esteem Facebook page, check it out, get to know some people on there, and then tomorrow I'm going to send you this. Then tomorrow I send them whatever the next step is. Okay, great. You've gotten the basic information. Let me know if you have any questions about it. And tomorrow I'm going to send you this and we're going to set up a phone call. Okay, so it's over the course of a few days. So I know they're looking at it, because if I sent them everything at once, they're going to be like, yeah, what did I just get myself into, right? So in the phone calls, and Christina kind of talked about this on Monday, I've pretty much done what she does already, but I do like one thing that she said. I have phone calls with my new coaches every week. I don't know if this is something y'all are still doing, but I think it's super important because y'all know that first month is just, you don't know what you're doing. So, I have my first phone call with them after I've sent them that information, but before they start coach training. So I answer any questions that they have. We talk about kind of their goals, what they think their goals are. And we talk about creating a contact list, because that's always one of their first questions is, who am I going to be talking to? So that's what we talk about. And then I tell them at the end of that phone call, okay, here's what you need to do before we talk next week. You need to start your contact list and pinpoint the first 5 people that you feel really good about talking to. So some people are going to have like 50 names easily on their contact list. And then other people are literally going to have like 7, and they're going to be like, here you go. This is everybody I know. It's 7 people. You're like, no, but we'll work with it. So just ask them to pinpoint 5 people that they feel confident starting to talk to about joining a challenge group or what they're doing. On the second phone call, we go over that. We go over those 5 people. And I also, this is after they've probably been in maybe a few days of coach training. So we still answer any questions they have. Usually this is also where I talk to them about goals as far as what do you need financially. So people are coming into this for all different reasons. Most of the time it's because they're super unhappy with their job, or maybe they're going to become a mom, or maybe they just need some extra money. Usually has something to do with money. So I tell them, not everything in coaching is about money, but we need to relate this right now to money so that we can make some benchmarks for you. Obviously, your first goal as a coach is to pay yourself back. You just spend $140 to $200 on a challenge pack. Let's help you get that back. So that's when we kind of talk about, their first month of coaching and how they can start inviting people to that challenge group. They already have the information on how to get their Shakeology paid for from that email. And they've already got a couple days of coach training under their belt. So if they needed to invite somebody right then, they could. And then we move on to, okay, now what about 3 months from now? What about 6 months from now? What about a year from now? And this is all in the book, GoPro. But basically you want to kind of help them see, and so many people are going to be very, very timid. They're going to be like, I don't know, because they have no idea how much they can make as a coach. They're going to be like, I don't know, $50. And then other people are going to be like, I need $5,000 right now. So most of the time they're kind of in between, but it's good to know you can relate that to if they're saying 6 months from now, I want to be making $1,000 extra every month. Then you know that they could still be emerald at that point working towards diamond. If they say 6 months from now, I need to be making $1,000 every week, then dude, you better be diamond by then and pushing on to the stars, So that's kind of how you can gauge, like, okay, you're either going to be a slow mover or you need to be a fast runner. Does that make sense so far? Okay. And then also you can tell them from this, like, okay, this is your monetary goals. Now, how much time are you willing to put into that? So are we talking about, 30 minutes a day? Are we talking about 2 hours a day? What does that look like for you? If they're wanting to make $200 a month, sure, 30 minutes a day, go for it. If they're wanting to make $2,000 a month, they're going to need to put in some more time than that, right? And the third phone call, they're just still learning. By now, they've started inviting people. They're either putting people in your challenge group or starting their own. So talk to them about feel, felt, found. That's how they share their story. I feel the same way you did. I found this. Whatever. I totally screwed that up. Feel, felt, found. So they're relating to people on how they're feeling during those objections, and they're learning how to talk to people instead of getting defensive. They're working on with their story, and you're letting them know that, hey, for every 10 people, there's going to be 2 that say yes, and that's normal because they're starting to wonder, why are so many people saying no? This is also where you can ask them to send you conversations. So if they are talking to people on Facebook or text or email, even talking to people in person, but if they have something written, that would be super helpful for you. Hey, you're having problems getting people to say yes. Absolutely. Everybody you've talked to has said no. Why don't you send me some of your conversations so I can look over them? Every time that I've asked people to do that, I'm always like, oh, Lord, here's what you need to say. Like they're screwing it up and they don't even know it, right? And then this is also a time where you can ask them to write down their goals. So, lots of times it's like, okay, well, you want to make this much money or you want to, be here in 6 months or a year, here's what that looks like, let me tell you. But they're not owning that because they're still confused. It gives them a good gauge of what to shoot for if that's really what they need monetarily, but they're not owning that. So maybe third phone call, third phone call, it's, you could say, okay, I want to know specifically what your goals are with coaching. Are you wanting to get to Emeralds? Are you wanting to shoot for Diamond? Are you wanting to do this full time? Are you wanting to do this as a hobby? Because hearing it straight from them is going to be totally different than you telling them. And then the last phone call, making an action plan. So hopefully around week 4, they probably won't be done with coach training. They'll probably be a couple weeks in to coach training, and that's fine. That's usually what happens. But by that point, they've heard the challenge group information, and so it's like, okay, let's make a plan of action. Like, how are you going to get to Emeralds if that's your goal? Diamond is your goal, great. How are you going to get there? So taking everything they've learned and having them map it out, because they're going to ask you tons and tons of questions, and then by week 4 or a month after working with them, they should be able to formulate in their head, okay, this is what I need to be doing to get there. So that's the picture perfect world. We know that it's not going to go perfectly like week 1, week 2, week 3. You're going to have to, some people aren't going to do what they're supposed to do in week 1. So it pushes back. Or some people are going to speed through the first week and they're like, okay, I did that. Now what's next? Everybody's kind of going to work at a different pace. But does that help? Do y'all have, are y'all having kind of like, not anxiety, but kind of like, different thoughts as far as like how to keep helping your challengers and how to keep helping new coaches? What's going on? Yes, no?
I feel like I've kind of been stuck with even knowing what to tell the people that are starting to coach, because everyone I had was signed up as a discount coach. So, and I'm learning that people take information differently. So some people I have to give them bits and pieces, and some people want it all right now. So this helps.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to go back and watch this all over again and take good notes.
Cool.
So.
Cool. And there's such beauty in people starting as discount coaches. All of you started as discount coaches. So in a lot of ways that made it easier for me, because it was like, cool, they already know what a challenge group is. They already know some of the behind the scenes stuff that I do. So you just kind of weave into it. But right. I will tell you this, with people who start out not knowing that, who they come in saying, I'm a coach, this is what I joined to coach, it's harder. It's a lot harder for them to wrap their head around everything. I never participated in a challenge group until I ran one, right? I was never in one of Allie's challenge groups. I just started running them. So, but I went full force right away. And so people coming in who aren't so much wanting to go full force right away or don't know how to do it, there's such a benefit with people starting out as discount coaches, for sure. Yeah.
It feels like natural progression.
Yes. Yes. And it makes your job so much easier.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, cool. So, and you might not have, okay, cool. We have 10 minutes. You might not have, automatic CEO or a newsletter or, some of this different stuff, but there's tons of templates on the Google Drive, and you might be like, Megan, I want to make this more simple, or I want to do this, or whatever. You can take these ideas and do whatever the heck you want. That's the great thing about, I don't even know how Allie runs her stuff anymore because I don't know. But I did learn a lot from different coaches. Of course, Allie, I've studied other coaches, and you can just grab and pull what you like and what works for you. And you're going to try some things, and you're going to be like, that's a huge waste of time. I'm not doing that anymore. So it's just trial and error, just like with everything else in coaching. But just like how you start up your challengers with, whenever I sign on a new challenger, after they sign up, I say, Okay, great. I'm going to go in, I'm going to check your order, and then I'm going to send you a getting started email and add you to the group. So they get in the Facebook group, but I also send them that email, especially if they're a discount coach, that has their discount coach information, my challenger roadmap that I have for them, and the progress report that I want them to use. If they're a customer, I just send them the customer information. But that right there tells them how to access Beachbody On Demand, blah, 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 all their fees. So just like you set those people up, for new coaches, you know, it's even more confusing. So, yeah, so if you just come up with a process, I'm sure it'll be awesome. And they're going to look at you like, wow, how do you know all of this? And you're going to be like, I don't. I'm making it up as I go along. It's great. You just constantly make stuff up. It's awesome. So. All right. Any more questions? Okay. Last thing I want to say is the My Challenger app is, I think we have like 11 more days of the beta test. Okay, here's what I'll say. For those of you who aren't on Facebook, you're going to love it. For those of you who are on Facebook, it's going to be a little bit annoying because it's such a toss-up. I would either really, really emphasize the app or maybe just emphasize it as a perk. But I don't want you to overwhelm yourself. So for those of you who are on Facebook, know that it's a little bit overwhelming because you're like, oh, wait, I need to check the app. Also, this is new. My people, they tend to prefer one or the other. So the people who are really responding on Facebook have not even checked their access code for getting on the app. The people who are responding on the app aren't really saying anything on Facebook. I post still everything to Facebook. That's what I'm doing right now. To the app, I'm just kind of posting random stuff. I'm not really, that sounds horrible, but I'm not really that much time into it.
Can you post stuff to the app? Can you schedule it out like you would Facebook?
No.
Okay.
So when you go into the app, you log in just like you do on Team Beachbody, which is also really annoying. They're working through things. So some of these annoying things, I hope that they go away. We're on a Facebook page, and every 2 seconds somebody pops up a new suggestion. They are super organized. They are taking notes of all of them. They're updating them with progress. So they're on it, but just know that it's not the greatest right now. So you log in. You have to log in every time. Sometimes I have to log in twice. You click on, you can create a group. So you create a group, you click on the group, and that's where you can see, you know, the people on it. So you can also add yourself as a participant, which I still need to do to see the participant side of things. But just know that when you have your sign in as a coach, you can also send yourself a thing to become a participant too. But on the participant side of things, they get an email from you with an access code. They use that to access the app on their phone after they download it. And they can enter in their before picture, their goal each day when they work out, and their Shakeology each day. I don't know about the other nutrition info. Again, I need to look at it. Supposedly there's supposed to be somewhere where they can track their containers, but I don't know. I need to look. On the coaching side of things, you create the group and you put in the name and then their email, and then you send out the invitations for them. So that's what the invitation they get with the access code. And then, so you can see who is filled out their stuff, accepted it, and filled out their stuff. Out of like 40 people, I've had like 16 do it. So that can tell you right there that some people don't care. So I can see, you know, I can read their goals, which that's the cool part. Like, I don't know, some people have been more involved on the app than they have on Facebook, so that's been cool. You can see their before picture, and there's a group feed. So instead of the Facebook page feed, it says group feed, and that's where you can go to see people's posts. Again, I have a few people that are like all about it. Most people are sticking to the Facebook page. So if you want to choose one or the other, that would probably be the best option. I'm kind of offering it as a perk. It's one of the things where, hey, if you join my challenge group, you also get access to the app, which is, you know, people like fitness apps. So that sounds cool. But I think if you want it to be a success, I would focus more solely on that. So, yeah.
Since it's probably something that I'll be using, is there any way that I could sign up as a challenger through you, or do you have a limited number of people that you can do? That way I could play and kind of see before they release it.
I thought about that. And I do have some coaches on there, but I don't want it to mess up your account, because the coaches that I have on there, they're not running their own groups. So I know they're going to be a participant with me, but I have thought of it for you, and I don't want to screw up your account. So I don't want to add you as a participant and then you not be able to register.
Be a coach.
And I'm afraid to ask because whenever people have asked if they can add their coaches, they have said absolutely not. So, yeah, because they're trying to keep it private because it's not ready to go yet. So I don't want to screw up your account. I totally already thought about that, and I don't want to screw it up.
That's fine.
But as soon as you get access, add yourself as a participant, because you'll be using this full out for sure.
Yeah.
And again, it's going to make your life so much easier instead of texting and having to do so much email and stuff. So,
yeah.
So for those of us on Facebook, it's a cool perk, but I don't know if you want to lead with it or not. You can play around with it. You might have a lot more success with it, and it'll probably be a lot cooler as it goes on. So, okay. Thanks for being on live, ladies. Great job. I'm going to post this recording. Katie, I'll send it to you. I'll post this recording to just our Diamond Accountability Group page. I'm not going to post it to the Team and Team page. But if you want to share this with your coaches, feel free. They might not care about this last part. They might not understand this last part. But the first part about getting to Emerald with your husband or just creating an account, then, yeah, they might want to hear it. So. Okay, love y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.